Oh my God.
So just tell everybody your name,
Yeah.
where you're from, and then we'll go from there.
My name is Lacey. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm 25 years old, and I was diagnosed with Beck with Wiedemann when my mother was 6 months pregnant with me. She had an ultrasound done, and they told her that I had the characteristics of Down syndrome. And then when I was born, when they noticed the whole tongue
With
thing,
Downs.
that's when they diagnosed me with it. So
okay.
Yes, with Down syndrome. And then Beck with women. Yeah, both. And it's funny because when my mom was pregnant with me, the doctors actually told her when they did the ultrasound that she should have me aborted because it's difficult to raise a child with Down syndrome. And which the funny part about it is I didn't have Down syndrome. I just have the characteristics of it, like the lazy eyes and like
you're not
just
like
the small parts of it.
Downs.
I don't have Down syndrome. I just have just the characteristics of it, and it's crazy because my mom always told me like, what if I would have aborted you, just because that's what the
It
doctors
is
told her to do.
crazy. I wouldn't
Basically,
even be
it's
talking to you.
crazy. You always, yeah, you always
So
go
true.
mother's intuition. They always know, and I don't have any kids, so I don't know it, but I have nieces and a
Yes.
nephew, so I definitely can feel it. You know when.
So how was it growing up,
Yeah.
like from like as a baby? So you knew that you had Beckwith before you were born, right?
Mm, Yeah, well,
Okay.
my mom didn't know until after I was born. My bad. She knew about the Down syndrome. She didn't know about the Beckwith Wiener. When I was born, they really didn't know anything about it. I didn't have to have a tongue reduction or anything like that. I think my mom's issue when I was born was I was having a hard time eating. Like I wasn't eating enough because my tongue stuck out. So that's when she took me to the doctor and they diagnosed me with it. Growing up, I don't really remember much of it. I just remember my mom always made it a thing to where I couldn't go outside and play because the doctors always told her, well, if I get
Okay.
hit, like I have an enlarged liver. So if I got hit, that it could erupt, or just not basically I'm special,
Okay.
but that I had to watch out and be careful. Like I wasn't like my other
Right.
siblings. I couldn't do the things that they did. And then I don't I don't personally know a lot of the things that come with Beckwith Wiedemann because I was diagnosed with it. I haven't done
Mm-hmm.
a lot of research into it until I found the group. But I was always told
Really?
like I couldn't have kids because it could be an issue. I don't know if a lot of kids have it, but my liver is three
Okay.
times the size of a normal person. So that has a lot to do with it that it
Okay.
could affect me or the child. So that was a really big issue growing up. My mom always enforced that. But yeah, I have had a lot of people email me and ask me about the tongue reduction. I didn't have to have one. It kind of just went down from my baby pictures. What I can tell, it went away with like a year
Okay.
and I want to say like 3 or 4 months. Coming like out of the pictures, you can
Yeah, like
tell
you kind of grew into it a little bit.
it went down. Yeah, and doctors always tell my mom. They told my mom I'd die in 6 months. They told my mom I'd die in 2 years.
Wow.
They told my mom I would die in 4 years. And my mom was like, after the 4 years,
Jeez.
we just kind of gave up. And yeah, yeah, a lot
So
of
did they
doctors
not
did
have you going
not
through
know
the
what it was
protocol and
at
getting all the
all.
screenings and all that? You didn't have any of that. Wow.
I didn't have any of that. This was 1994. I'm 25. They knew nothing. My mom said like specialists came in and that's how they diagnosed it. Because I kept having to go to different hospitals. I don't remember what the exact issues were, but I missed a lot of school growing up
Yeah.
because I was always in and out of the hospital, and none of the doctors knew what it was, so they couldn't tell my mom like, okay, this is the issue. That's why they kind of just threw out, well, she's gonna
Oh
die in
my
6 months. She'll die in
God.
2 years. She'll die in 4 years. So that's why they kept just throwing it out there. Yes, and I'm not sure because I don't have a kid. that was diagnosed with it how it is now. But from what my mom explained to me, when she would tell a doctor or a dentist or anyone in the medical field what the name, they'd be like,
It
"What?
is still like that.
Like, what is that?"
But there is a little bit more awareness than when you
And that's
were
crazy.
born. Like I hope that people aren't
Yeah.
well, some doctors aren't saying like your child's going to die or they won't live a normal life, and some are. So there is still a whole lot of education that needs to be done. And I will say, I work at a hospital, and all the physicians that I work with, when I told them what my son had, they were like, "What is that?" So yeah,
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy how much people do not know. And it really makes me upset that doctors would tell parents, and especially
oh,
I'm my mom's first child. I'm the oldest. Telling a new mom, like a mom who just had a baby, like your child's not gonna make it, your child will have a difficult life. Yeah, you don't know that much into it,
well, it's just
but
very interesting. It's
you
very
don't want to
interesting
tell a mom
advice
that.
to give you when they don't know anything on it.
Yeah, and that's what my mom always said. My mom always told me, like, they just don't know, they don't understand. And that's why I said I wanted parents. That's why I did this, because I want parents to know that their kids are not expiration dates. They are blessings. They'll make it. I work 2 jobs. I have
Yeah.
3 nieces and a nephew. I live a full life. So there's hope, there's
Yeah.
possibility. We're not walking diseases. We're not.
Right.
We're not all the things that people have named us. And things
Yeah.
happen,
And
and
we go with
we're
it.
born with what we get,
Exactly.
and we just go with it. Yeah, and it's really sad. I just wish, I hope that within the years to come, doctors do more research into it,
Yeah.
because it is an interesting thing to live with. I mean, hey, we don't know why we're made like this. We're just missing a couple
You should
extra
add
chromosomes,
yourself
okay?
to the if you
So,
want, to the registry at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. They have a whole research team for Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome, and they have a registry. Yes, and they have a registry, and people can
really,
sign up for it, and they kind of like,
yes.
just keep track of everyone, and then like they can, okay, if all these people are saying like overheating, were you ever an overheater? Like you got hot all the time?
Yeah, my mom said growing up that I was always really red,
Yep.
that I always like had a hard time breathing, that I just that's why she always told my sister, like, y'all have to be careful with her, y'all can't
Yep.
overplay with her because she can get really sick. So I've heard of it. I don't remember a lot of
Yeah.
things like that growing up
So
because I was so
that
young.
like
But yeah,
right
I've heard
now
of it.
isn't recognized as like a commonality, but it definitely is from like all the people I've been talking to. My son overheats, he like turns purple. So they can like once that's all logged in the
Oh
registry, I don't know
my
how it works
goodness.
exactly, but it really does let them get data on live subjects, and really that can decide how their research goes. Like, okay, we really need to look into this and see the effects of this from BWS. So I can message you the registry link if you would like to register for it.
Yes, please, 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 please. Yes, because I knew nothing about that. I
Mm.
knew like the basics, like the tongue and then the eyes and stuff like that, but I didn't know anything like that. And that could have been an issue that doctors just didn't come across with me
Right.
because it was so long ago. And literally, my pediatrician, when my mom had me and she had all my doctor's appointments set up, my
Yeah.
pediatrician knew nothing about
Yeah.
what BWS was. Nothing. And it was just crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's not something that's curable. We, of course, have to live with it, but there
Yeah.
could be
Well,
at
like as a new
least a little
mother,
bit
you don't want
more.
to take your child to the pediatrician and then have to Google it. You're
And
like,
they
wait a
know
minute, I could have
nothing.
just
Yeah, they
Googled
know
that.
nothing
I
about
mean,
what's going on with you. Yeah, and that's basically what I've noticed. A lot of parents with kids that have
yeah.
BWS, they have to Google pretty much everything because that's what my mom
Oh.
said. She was like, she had to Google everything. She had to look up everything. She had
So I
literally
guess
nothing. The internet was
I
her only
wonder if
resource
the
because doctors
protocol
couldn't
and
tell anything.
screenings were in place at that time. They might not have been. Maybe. Maybe that's why. Yeah, maybe that's why you
I
never
doubt
had
it because
them.
that was 25 years ago. Yeah. They just caught on. My mom said they caught on to the Down syndrome part, which I mean, I wouldn't know how. But then when I was born and I was taken to the NICU because I was really underweight. I want to say I was preemie, but I'm not sure. Um, they said they noticed the tongue thing
Yeah.
because my tongue stuck out so much, and that's when they automatically knew. They like I don't know how they
Right.
knew nothing about it, how they did
It's
research
interesting
into
because a
it,
lot of people
but
have come
that's
on
how they
here and
noticed
said
it.
the first thing that people suspect is Downs when they see the tongue and everything like that. And it's interesting to me because I'm like, it doesn't have to be Downs. Like, there are other things to look for.
Yeah, and like my whole body is bigger than the other. Like my right side is
Now,
maybe
when did
two
they
inches
notice
bigger than
that? Or
my
did you
left
just
side.
notice it? Okay.
No, they noticed it. I always remember my mom growing up. She would always tell, and I don't know why she told everybody, but she would show them like my arms because you can see the
Yeah.
similarities in my arms. How my right side's bigger than my left side. And then growing up, my shoes, I always had
Oh,
to
yeah.
get. My mom had to fight
Yes.
retailers to get
Yes.
one shoe size bigger than the
I
other,
know.
and it was just a really
Now,
big
would they
thing.
see?
So I
I've
remember
only
that.
found
Yeah,
one place
it's
that lets
crazy.
me do that for my son, and when she said yes, I like cried at the register, and she was like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, "You have no idea. Like, it's such a
Oh,
simple act. Like, this is like my child. I can't change that his feet are different, but I'm not. He's like gonna hurt himself. So,
yeah,
yeah.
and you had to like force your feet. I remember my mom used to have to force like my foot into my other shoe because one was bigger
Oh,
than the other, and then my shoes were just either too big or too small. So, yes, I mean, it's things like that that really like help people. I don't know about how my mom got the shoes because I know a couple people gave them to her without even her having to explain.
oh, you
Like,
froze.
there wasn't really.
You're. I can now, but you froze
Can
for a
you hear
little
me?
bit. You're good now. I
Am I good now?
I
We're
missed
good.
what you
Okay.
said though.
Okay. Sorry, somebody was trying to call me. I think that's what it was. But okay.
Oh, really? I don't
It's
hear the
echoing
echoing
and
on
I
my
can hear
side.
it. It's weird. Yeah, like I can hear myself repeat. It's repeating what I'm saying.
Oh,
So
I can't
I don't know
hear
if
it.
it's doing it again.
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Let me change my headphones. I don't know if it was my I don't know if it was my AirPods or what it was, but I could like hear myself echo. But yeah, my mom didn't have
That's
too many problems with me growing up. Um, just besides like the no rough playing. I think it was.
I can, yes. Well, now there was a little bit of a
Can you
thing,
hear
but
me?
I can hear you.
Okay, because it's still echoing.
Oh, now I can hear it all sorts of stuff.
Oh, now I can hear all sorts of stuff. Like I can hear myself talk. So it's weird. But yeah, that was basically it growing up. Just the rough playing, the feet, and the tongue. But they
Hmm.
always tell my mom like she'll grow out of it. She'll grow out of it. I don't remember after pre-K because I remember in kindergarten, like literally starting elementary school and stuff. My mom had got served papers for me failing like my classes. Like I was missing school,
Yeah.
so they were trying to give her what is it, truancy? Like they were trying to serve her truancy. They were trying to do that to her, and my mom had to go to a seminar for kids that had health issues. I guess it was a really big thing. I remember I was like 4 and I was asleep during the seminar, and I remember my mom talking about it, like my child is sick,
Yeah.
and y'all are trying to
Right.
put me in jail for taking care of my kid. Like she had doctor's excuses, she had everything, and they were trying to pretty much put her in jail
That's
because
ridiculous.
I missed like all of kindergarten pretty much. Yeah, so there was definitely no remorse.
Yeah.
I would say for
I
parents
think
that had
especially when people
sick
don't understand
kids.
what's going
So,
on, like the
but
amount of
yeah,
appointments you have, the amount of just the amount of, I don't want to say issues, but BWS spans across so many different specialties. Like it's not just one thing. It's like, okay, you have orthopedic issues now because your right side's bigger than your left. You have plastic surgery issues because of your tongue. You have cancer risk issues because of like the oncology issues because of the cancer. You've got respiratory issues. It's like it spans across all specialties, heart, everything.
yeah, exactly. And I get it. A lot of the school districts didn't understand, but it was kind of like, okay, do we really have to waste all of our time sending moms to a seminar to sit for 8 hours with their sick children to bully them
Exactly.
into understanding that their kids miss school? The
Exactly. How are
school's
they going to be in school
important,
if
but
they're
their
not
health is
healthy?
more important.
So did they ever,
Exactly.
I'm going to think that they probably did
Yeah.
they ever like blood test you for BWS, or did they just clinically diagnose you?
Well, I know
Mm-hmm.
I had blood tests done, and that's how they I guess told my mom that my chromosomes were missing. Like I had a few chromosomes
Okay.
missing, and that's why I was born that way. So I know that that was like one of the reasons how. Because honestly, I can't say that I don't have Down syndrome, but to me, it seems like it was
Right.
more they didn't
Right.
understand it, so that's what they diagnosed me with. Because
Right.
all of it's pointing to
Right.
BWS and not Down syndrome.
So do you think you would ever like
So
get a repeat blood test to see what, like, obviously you have the clinical features for it. Do you think you would get a blood test to see what type you have?
I actually have been wanting to look into do that just so I can point directly what everything is, but I
Right.
have not have gotten into that. No, I haven't. But yeah, it is something I would be
Yeah,
interested
you
in
should see
doing.
just so
I,
you know
I
what
actually
type.
should do because that
You just
it's
learn a little
interesting
bit
to
more
know
about
what.
yourself,
Yeah,
and then you can find out. I mean, the majority of them aren't the familial type that are passed down, but if you ever, with kids and stuff like that, and I don't even know, you should find out if that's accurate what they told you about having children.
yeah. I know for a fact with the enlarged liver that it could have an effect because they were you could have kids, but it would be really hard for the baby to grow inside of me because
Right,
my
right.
liver is 3 times the size of a normal person, pretty much. So I know it would have an effect, but as an
Yeah.
adult, that's something you should look
Yeah,
into.
just as
Yeah,
like
I
instead of
really
it
do
being
need
like
to do
an end
that.
all
Yeah,
be all, like, oh, they said I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Do you ever
yeah, yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah.
well, you
The
said your tongue
basics.
went in around like 1.5.
Yeah, it was like one from. I went through all the pictures, like the pictures I had sent you. I had went into the pictures. What? It's butter. That's just how it is. I just made it that way. Yeah. So it was like when I was like
Okay.
1.5.
So did you
Yeah,
ever experience any type of bullying
basically.
for the differences that BWS caused you or anything like that? Like as you got older, or not really?
Honestly, from the
Good.
earliest I can remember, I don't think I was ever bullied for it. I think maybe a lot of kids probably didn't understand it. I know the
Yes.
generation that we live in is a lot different now than it was when I was in school. So that could have a big impact to it.
See, I
But
think
I don't
that's good.
ever
I think
remember
that's
getting
good for
bullied
moms
for
to
it.
hear because that is, and I'll say it for myself and a whole bunch of people on here, that's one of people's biggest fears is that that's going to happen to their kids because kids are tough in general. And then, like I've already been in a situation where, because Owen had a reduction, but his tongue still, he might need a second one. And, I've had situations where kids are like pointing it out or pointing at it and laughing at it. And I'm just like, oh man. And he's little, he's only
Yeah.
17 months old. So I'm glad to hear you say that because I'm hoping that he doesn't have to experience that. But it's good to hear someone actually say it.
Yeah. That's why I know the generation of kids that I was raised with, and then the generation of kids that we have now. It's
Yeah.
a really big difference, and bullying is a really big thing in our society now. So I really hope that kids don't have to go through it because
Right.
they can't help that they were born with it. So
Yeah.
all we can really do is
Did you ever
hope
have any
and
speech
pray.
issues with your tongue since it was larger when you were born?
No, my mom just basically said that I couldn't keep my tongue in. Like, she was like, she kept trying to like
Yeah.
poke it in because she didn't understand why it was sticking out. So she's like, I just kept trying to put it in, and she was like, the only thing that had an issue with me is I
Okay.
wasn't gaining weight because I wasn't eating enough. So they told my mom, they're like, if she starts losing weight and it's
Okay.
rapidly, then they'll do the tongue reduction. But
Yeah, you
since
figured
I
it out.
was the healthy baby after that, I was eating. Nothing was wrong with it.
That's
Yeah,
good.
they figured it out
Do
and it
you
just went
think
down.
that I always ask this question to
Yeah.
usually moms because usually moms of kids are the ones on here. It's cool to have someone your age that has it on here. How is your personality? Are you like feisty and like determined? Because I feel like that's a BWS trait.
Uh, I
All right.
I would say we're very sassy. Like, we're very, very sassy. We're very. I would say, and I always compare it to like my zodiac sign, just because I'm a Cancer. I'm a crybaby, but I would say yes. We're very emotional. We're very sassy. We're,
Yeah.
how do you say this? We can be pushed to our point, but because I don't remember like growing up,
Yeah.
my mom always said like I was a very calm baby,
Yeah.
but I cried a lot. She was like that was the only thing. So I don't know. I
Got
would
the
say the
sass.
number one thing is we're very sassy. We want things done our
Yeah, and if
way.
someone's
Yeah,
gonna
we
tell
want
you to
things
do it
done
a
our way
different
for
way,
sure,
it's
for
a no
sure.
go.
Yes. Yeah, it's no
Oh
way. It's
yeah.
our way or the highway, unfortunately. And we
See,
just
you
want it
have
that
to
way.
join the
We just
registry
want it
because
that
I
way,
swear I'm like
unfortunately.
that every BWS baby is like that. I've never had anyone tell me otherwise so far, and you're our 14th episode, so
Yes, please
yes, I
send me the
definitely
link. I
will.
will
I'll send
register
it to you as soon as we get
ASAP.
off.
ASAP.
Is there anything that
Alright, cool.
any
Yes.
advice that you would give? Well, two things. Is what advice would you give to moms of like new moms that have just gotten this diagnosis, especially of girl BWS babies? Because I do think it's probably a little harder than having a boy.
Um, honestly, the number one thing I would say is don't give up. Like, I know it's hard. Restless
Yeah.
nights, even with being a new mom, is hard. I help my sister with all of her kids pretty much, and I know having kids is a difficult thing. And especially if you're a new mom or if you're a mom
Yeah.
going from one to two, that could be really hard because you're even if you're doing it alone. I saw a lot of comments or I saw a lot of things in other groups where moms are like they're doing it alone. It gets
Yeah.
easy. Like,
Yeah.
look, it gets easy. It really does. We grow up, we grow out of it. Things change,
Yeah.
things get better. Just don't give up. Like, seeing your kids come out of this better and things, seeing them grow out of it is honestly, I think, would be the
Yeah.
most,
That's good advice.
the greatest feeling ever.
And what would you tell
Yes.
what would you tell teenage girls with BWS that do have hemihypertrophy and stuff like that? Because girls are hard on themselves. What if, yeah, even when they don't have
Oh my
anything like
God,
that.
yes. That is probably, being a girl, I think it's probably the hardest thing because you don't understand why you're made different and
Yeah.
you're really, girls are really hard on themselves and it gets better. It really does. Same thing for moms. It gets better. You'll grow out of it. You will live a normal life. Even if you're having problems, I'm not sure if me having children had to do with BWS, but if you're going through
Okay.
it, just all you have to do is get medical help. Look into it, do your research because you will learn way more about it than you just, it's in your mind going around and around. Growing up as a teenager,
Right. That's good.
I didn't think about it because I had already grew out of it. But I know I probably have the easier end on it. I don't have it as bad as most
Yeah, you didn't
kids.
do any of the screenings or any of that.
So it's a lot easier for me. Yeah. It's just, you really just have to remind yourself every day that you're
Yeah.
beautiful, you're smart. You have to tell yourself that. Because, like I said, in our generation, I had it a lot easier. A lot of the kids I grew up with were nice.
Yeah,
Parents did
exactly.
parents did a lot of discipline,
Mm,
and now it's not like that. And I know a lot of
yeah.
girls have to suffer, and they get the shitty end of the deal. It gets better. It honestly does, and there's not anything we're gonna be able to tell them.
Yeah.
It's all about what's inside of you. You just have
And
to
do you think
it's a
that
constant reminder.
your mom was the one that kind of instilled that in you, instilled that love for yourself, and or did you just always had it?
No, I think honestly, I mean, I know my mom loved me and she tried. She did, she did her best. She didn't know as much about it
Right.
as, I think she could have. And I know it's a
Right.
lot, she didn't have a lot of the resources we have now. But for me, I think it's
Good.
something that I just reinforced in myself. It's not an easy thing if you wake up and you're not feeling it, you don't feel like yourself, you don't feel beautiful, you don't feel it, and it's not
Yeah.
easy. You just have to it's a constant reminder, honestly. You
That's
just
right.
you have to beat
Yeah.
it inside of you
Well, I really
because it's not
appreciate
easy.
you coming on here and
Yeah.
sharing your story. I think it's huge for everyone to hear it because, I've never talked to anybody that didn't go through any of the screenings simply because you guys weren't advised to, um, which is crazy to me. I remember the second I found out Owen had it, I'm like, I want him screened right now, right this second. So, I mean, maybe not being screened was a blessing in
Yeah.
disguise. You turned out okay. But I think your story is going to resonate with a lot of people. So I'm really glad that you came on and shared it with us.